day 10 of the 29 days of love. So I have to just really commend you if you have been with me this far, because it's a commitment and 10 days is a long time. We still have 19 to go. So I just keep making lists of things that I want to talk about with you that are so important when it comes to love. And we've really been focusing on the 5 pillars of love: understanding, clarity, falling in love with yourself, creating a life that you love, and attracting. Those are the 5 pillars of love. We've been going deep into those. I'm also going to introduce you to a healing process, the 4 step process that I have in my book. But today I want to talk to you about fear. And I really want to talk to you about like putting love before fear and the choices that we have, because a lot of the feedback that I've been getting, a lot of the comments have been questions, and sometimes people reach out to me privately. So it's not necessarily on Facebook. So not everybody gets to see these. But one really common thing that is showing up again and again as we move into day 10 is, how do I let go of pain and trauma and the past, and um like overcoming divorce or heartbreak? How do I get past it? How do I get through it? What do I do? And so I've been getting a lot of this. And and really it is a choice, and it's embracing your inner phoenix. So often we're taught like, oh, I'm so sorry that happened to you. And and we get into a victim mode, because in a victim mode something happened to me, and we can stay there and we get consoled, and it gives us an excuse to armor up, to feel like we're in more control of our emotions and our heart, like we're protected, we've got our wall up, we've got our armor up. And so it becomes something that's in service to us, because when we make a choice, when we make a decision to do something, we it's because somewhere it's serving us. And that may feel weird, right? Like, of course I don't want to stay stuck in this. But if it is giving you a permission slip in your mind that says, I'm safe here, if I wall off my heart, if I say, I don't trust love, I don't want to get hurt again, this happened to me, this is my experience with relationships, I've always had a track record of this or this or this, so I'm not doing it again. And some people choose this and they stay single for the rest of their lives, or they stay bitter, they stay angry, they stay in a place of pain and hurt, because the story they're telling themselves is, I can't stop. I can't stop thinking about it. I can't stop feeling it. I can't stop experiencing it. And then that becomes their truth. Because what we believe does become our truth if we own it hard enough. So there has to be a willingness to expand. There has to be an openness to letting love in to heal. There has to be a willingness to say, I'm going to drop the armor. I'm going to let this story go. I love this. I've heard this, and I think I've said it here in the series, is like, bring the lesson forward from the past, but leave the pain behind. Because the only place that it still exists is in your mind, even with things that happened to us. Like when I talked to you guys about the infidelity in my first marriage and how much that betrayal broke my heart, I had a lot of choices. Do I stay single for the rest of my life? Do I give up on love entirely? Because I've just, like, in one instance, labeled all men as untrustworthy and dishonest. I could do that. That's a choice. But I still chose love. I realized that it was the person with his stories, with his issues. He's the one that made these. It didn't have anything to do with me. It was his stories and his beliefs. that led him to the choices that he made. And not every man was like that. And that love never caused me to have a broken heart. The person did. So I had to make a choice. And we get choices every single day. So when we realize that we hold on sometimes to the thing that hurt us in order to try and protect ourselves from having it ever happen again, we stay stuck. We have to be willing to be vulnerable again. We have to be willing to let love lead, let love step in front of fear and take the reins, take the wheel, and lead us into another area in our lives of healing so that we can let the past go and really decide what we want to create in our own lives now. It's never too late. I did a speech last night. Maybe why I'm hoarse. Sorry, guys. But I did a talk last night. Sorry. I was invited to come and speak locally, and there were probably about, I don't know, 30 or 35 people there. It wasn't a huge speaking engagement, but it was big for me. And it was in person, which was really fun. And one of the, I was talking about a healing process, the book, and I was talking about the 4 steps, but the first half of the talk, it was long, was about my story, my love story that I've shared with you here. And then the second half was about rising from the ashes. It was about how I believe with everything in my being that I am here on this planet to change the world one heart at a time. That's the mission statement for my business. I'm here to take my lessons about love and share them with the world. And when I was really introduced to what love really was, I mean, for 50 years of my life, love was something that was not positive in my life, other than with my children. Other than with my children. My experience of life or love was not positive, but that became foundational. When I was introduced to love, I grew exponentially. It was like a quantum leap because once I really understood what love was and I stopped using love as an excuse for having a broken heart, love sucks, love is hard, love this, love that, when I dropped it all and I went, no, I'm the common denominator. Why am I making the choices that I've made? Why am I doing this to myself again and again? Why am I stuck in toxic patterns? And I recognized that it was because of my stories and my beliefs. And that was good news because I have the power to change those. I had the power to rewrite those love stories. I had the power to take the lessons forward from the past and leave them behind. And believe me, in 50 years, I had a lot of evidence showing me how painful love could be, but it wasn't ever love. It was the people and me. I was part of it. I was choosing this. So when I really developed a relationship with love and fell in love with myself and my life, in the last 8 years, I've had more personal growth than I did in the first 50 of my life. Exponential growth, quantum leap, because now I'm aligned with love. I'm not doing it on my own anymore. I have a much higher power that is assisting me and with me and walking this path with me. And some people call it God, some people call it universe or source energy or an infinite intelligence. Love is what it is. And it is a creative, intelligent source. And that's where we come from and it's where we return to. And by using that connection and building a relationship with love itself, it made love that was internal, an inside job, instead of something that was happening to me or externally, or I had to wait for a blessing to come upon me, like asking for something. Love stopped being something out there that I had to get, and it became something that was inside of me that's always inside of me. And that is such a safe place to be because your love, your joy, your contentment, your peace cannot be disrupted from anything external. No external circumstances can disrupt your peace when you live in a place that you're aligned with love. And to do that, you've got to be willing to forgive. And that is hard sometimes. But here's the things: you've got to forgive. You've got to forgive yourself. You've got to make a choice that says, I choose to rise from the ashes, and get excited about it. Be proud of it. Be that phoenix that rises from the ashes instead of being the person that's stuck down in the quagmire, that's stuck in the quicksand, that can't pull yourself out. You can pull yourself out. Be proud of the phoenix. Rise above it. Conquer it, because it's fear. And when love steps in, it's sort of like walking into a room with the lights off and it's completely dark and you can't see a thing. You flip a switch and the light comes on and there's no more darkness. When you bring love in, fear dissipates. The two are totally separate frequencies, so they don't coexist. So bringing in love brings in security and peace and understanding and forgiveness and compassion. And if you're struggling with forgiveness, one thing I can say is to re examine this through the eyes of love. Try to have compassion for the situation, the person, the choice, maybe even yourself that caused the pain. Because when we see it differently, everything does change. And remember that it's thought. Everything is thought. This is how we go through life. So if you want to have a more positive experience of life, you've got to start looking for good. Start digging for gold, not digging for dirt. We're so trained to look for the negative, to stay in a low vibration, low energy, stay fear-based. When we are little kids, how many times have you heard, I wish I could see people and hands, how many times have you heard, like, don't get your hopes up, don't get too excited, calm down, right? It's like we have been taught to lower our expectations to avoid disappointment and let down. We have not been taught to be like excited, to be in excited anticipation. This is different than expectations, by the way, but to live in a state of excited anticipation, like what's next, what's next, what's next, what's next. When we get into that vibration and we start to rise, then it's like turning on the switch. You'll notice that you're not so consumed with the thoughts that are hurting you. You'll notice that you're not so stuck. And your ego is going to fight this, because when you start to first experience joy on a regular basis and you're happy on a regular basis, and you're used to being sad, or you're used to being in a lower energy because you've been hurt and you're living in that state of like wounded victim, then joy and happiness are going to feel foreign, and they're going to feel like something's wrong. Like if you notice that you haven't thought about the pain for several hours, you're going to question it. Like, what's going on? I haven't thought it. Whoa, what's happening? And you're going to start to like be suspicious of the happiness and the joy. And it's a natural thing for it to kick in. The other shoe's going to drop. Something must be wrong. Something bad must be going to happen, because I haven't been this happy in a long time. Instead of understanding that that's actually the natural state of the universe, is that higher vibration. We were created to be joyful beings. We're innately love. And then it's like the sun shining all the time. That's our innate nature, is love, is that joyful, happy, creative source being that is having a human experience, here to be on both in a classroom and a playground simultaneously. We learn and we get to play with life. That's the gift of living. That's the gift of being a human being on the planet. And we waste it when we're so cocooned up in fear our whole lives. When you get to the end of your life, ask yourself the question, did I fulfill my purpose here? What did I come here to do? I told you at the beginning of this call, I came here to learn about love. And you know what? I did learn about love. And for 50 years, I learned about what not to do. And I learned that what I thought was love was painful. When I was really introduced to love, now I'm on the other side of that coin. Now I'm experiencing love in every area of my life because it's coming from me. And that's such good news. And so I'm able to leave the past and able to move forward and rise from the ashes. And instead of choosing fear, I choose love. But I have to do it every day. Sometimes I have to do it moment by moment because I'm trained to look for the dirt. We're trained not to get my hopes up, not to get too excited. It was so much fun doing a speaking engagement, being invited to do that last night. And I'm excited to do more. But I could have gone the other route, which was pure fear. It's never going to work. It's not going to turn out. I'm not going to be very good. And I would have robbed myself of that experience. And it was a beautiful experience. And I'm so grateful for it. So, how do you want to live your life? Do you have a choice every day, love or fear? Just know that when love steps in, fear dissipates. It's okay to be sad. It's okay. But step into the emotion, look at your thoughts, look at what's creating that emotion in your body, acknowledge it. You may have like a wounded child in there that just needs some nurturing from you, that you're safe now. It's okay, I've got you. Like that's not happening anymore. That happened a long time ago. It's not happening now. And I've got you. And I will not abandon you. And I will stay with you. And I will keep you safe. Sometimes that's all it takes, is we need to go into that place where we were so wounded, right? That woman that was so wounded at 24 years old when her husband was unfaithful and my whole world came falling down around me. That woman that's scared, that says, I can't trust men. I can't trust again. I had to go into her from my older, wiser self and say, I've got you. I've got your back. I've got you, sister. Like, I will not let that happen again. And if it does happen again, we'll be okay. We're strong, right? I've learned, I've grown. I know that I could survive infidelity again because now I know that it's not about me. And I'm choosing partners. Like my partner now is a wonderful man who doesn't cheat. He doesn't lie. He's honest. He's extremely honest. He's in his integrity. Well, I had to rise to be able to be the woman that chose that kind of man. Because when I was living in my brokenness, I was under this like illusion that said, I have to choose men that are more broken than me. Because if I don't, then they're going to abandon me. They're going to see my brokenness and they're going to be out of here. So it was less risky to choose someone that had his list of things that were going to be problematic. I was doing that, not consciously, but I was doing that. I broke that cycle. I found my value, my worth. I fell in love with myself. And now when I attract in a partner, it's a completely different scenario. And you can do this whether you're already married in a relationship and you want to just bring it to next level love, or whether you're looking for love. You're single and you're like, I want to be partnered, but I'm scared. I'm so scared. You can do the work on yourself to go into that confident and aligned with love so that you don't have to be scared anymore. So it's good news. You have more control than you think. It's very good news. So leave me comments or questions or DM me. Happy to answer them, and stick with me. I'm so grateful that you're here. And I know a lot of people watch the replays, but thank you for showing up with me again and again, because we're going to just keep going deeper and deeper and learning more about love in the 29 days of love. Okay. I will see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Pacific. Sunday morning. Enjoy your Saturday. All right, guys.